Hey there, welcome to your deep dive. We're really digging into Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People today.
A classic for sure.
It really is. I mean, this book's practically a cultural institution, but we figured even if you think you know it, there are always hidden gems to uncover, right?
Absolutely. And it's been a bestseller for so long for a reason.
It's true. It's like he tapped into something, about how we connect as humans.
That's right. That desire
Yeah.
to build those relationships, to persuade, it's fundamentally human.
Totally. And the best part is he uses these incredible stories
Oh, yeah.
of like regular people
Mhm.
doing these extraordinary things just by like
Yeah.
shifting how they interact with others.
It's true.
And I feel like we've all had that moment where we're like, man, I wish I could just handle this work conflict better or this family thing or even just, like parking attendant.
That guy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
universal.
And Carnegie just gives you the tools,
He does, yeah.
not tricks,
No, not tricks.
but actual tools to navigate these situations. And he starts right off the bat with something that I think we can all relate to, which is that nobody likes to be criticized.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's like nails on a chalkboard to the ego.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, it is. It just shuts people down.
You just shut down. You're like, nope, not listening.
Yeah.
And he actually says in the book, people seldom criticize themselves even when they're dead wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ouch, that's a little close to home, don't you think?
Oh, 100%. But that's what makes it so powerful, right?
Exactly. So what do you do if you can't criticize people? How do you get them to, I don't know.
Change.
Yeah, change. Exactly.
Well, Carnegie says that instead of trying to change people, which rarely works,
Okay, good point.
you should focus on genuine appreciation.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So instead of like focusing on someone's flaws, you just focus on their strengths.
Right.
Okay, so like that colleague who's always late with deadlines, but they make a really mean cup of coffee.
Exactly.
You focus on the coffee.
Find something. You got to find something genuine to appreciate, even if it's something small. Remember that story he tells about Charles Schwab, the steel magnate?
No, what did he do?
He finds some workers taking a smoke break,
Pretty.
right, under a no smoking sign.
Oh no. Did he like call the fire department? What did he do?
No. He hands each of them a cigar
What?
and says, "I'd appreciate it if you enjoyed those outside."
Oh, that's amazing.
Right.
So he's like the cool boss.
You'd think. But he's subtly demonstrating leadership here.
Okay.
He's acknowledging those workers, right, as people. They're taking a break. Maybe they're feeling a little rebellious. And instead of coming down hard, he finds this common ground.
Right, because at the core of it, he's like, I see you, I respect you, but at the same time, here are the boundaries.
Exactly.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
And you know what everyone craves? They crave appreciation. They crave to be seen.
Oh, that's so true.
Think about Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay.
He was legendary for how good he was socially.
Oh, he was. I mean, the guy was larger than life, wasn't he?
He was. And his secret weapon, research.
Wait, Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider, sat there doing his homework.
He did. He would stay up late learning about his dinner guests, their interests, their passions, even their pet peeves.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine? You're the guest of honor, and the president has been brushing up on your favorite opera.
That's incredible.
Right. Talk about making someone feel important.
I mean, that's next level. It makes you wonder what we could all achieve if we put in even a fraction of that effort.
Absolutely.
It's true, just trying to understand the people around us.
It's all about understanding.
That's really cool. So it's not just about, like, being nice. It's about actually understanding where people are coming from.
Exactly. And you know what? Carnegie illustrates this beautifully with another story.
Oh, lay it on me. I love his stories.
This guy's trying to get his rent reduced.
Yeah.
Now, the landlord, notoriously difficult.
Oh.
So what does he do? He starts praising the building, the architecture, the craftsmanship.
This is brilliant.
He finds something he genuinely admires and compliments the landlord on it.
Wow.
Because everyone, even the toughest landlord, has that pride,
Yeah, totally.
that sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely.
And by tapping into that, he changes the entire dynamic.
It's true. We forget that everyone has those insecurities,
Yes.
those desires.
Mm.
And so often the key to getting what you want is just figuring out what makes them tick.
Precisely. And that leads us to another key principle, arousing an eager want. You know, when we talk about arousing an eager want,
Yeah.
It's not about being manipulative.
Right.
It's about understanding what the other person truly desires.
Okay, so less about twisting their arm
Right.
and more about understanding like what really motivates them.
Exactly.
And then showing how your idea or your request or whatever it is kind of fits into that.
It's about finding that common ground.
Got it.
Just like Lloyd George, that British prime minister. Famous quote. He said the key to his success was baiting the hook to suit the fish.
I love that.
It's a good one, right?
Because it shows that you can't just use like the same approach
Right.
with every person for every situation.
Absolutely not.
You have to tailor it.
Exactly.
And Carnegie uses that example of like trying to get a calf to go into a barn.
Yeah,
You can't force it, it's just going to resist.
right.
But if you figure out what the calf wants, you're not pushing, you're leading.
You're persuading.
Yeah, it's so much better than like trying to force someone into something.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to feel bullied.
Nobody likes to feel like they're losing, right?
Exactly.
Everyone wants to feel like they're like coming to the conclusion on their own.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting.
Yeah.
This idea of like understanding the other person's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It ties into one of the biggest principles in the book,
Okay.
which is you can't win an argument.
Oh, tell me about it. I always want to have the last word.
Really?
Oh,
Even if it means staying up all night arguing.
maybe.
But Carnegie says, even if you could win the argument, you shouldn't.
Really?
Because think about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you really achieved anything if you've just, like, intellectually steamrolled someone?
Probably not. They're probably just going to walk away being like, I hate that guy.
Exactly. They're resentful. They're unheard. You've won the battle, but you've lost the war.
That's true. That's true.
So what does he suggest instead?
I'm all ears because I need help in this department.
He says, begin in a friendly way.
Oh.
So simple.
So instead of like coming out swinging with all your counterpoints,
You just take a breath
Okay.
and you acknowledge their point of view,
Even if I think it's wrong.
even if you think it's completely bonkers.
Wow. Okay. So instead of being like, there is literally no way that's true, have you even considered this? I should be like,
You could say something like, that's an interesting perspective.
okay.
I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Whoa.
What makes you say that?
Wow. I already feel less defensive.
You see?
Just changing the tone,
It's all about the approach.
like being curious.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
And you know what he says.
What's that?
Once you've got them talking, try to get them saying yes, yes,
Oh, I like that.
as early and often as possible.
Yeah, because you're building momentum.
Exactly.
And it's like you're on the same team.
You're collaborating, not competing.
That's so smart. See, this is what I love about all these principles.
Yeah.
It's not just about like being sneaky and getting what you want.
Yeah.
It's about like actually building relationships
Absolutely.
that are stronger because there's this foundation of empathy.
It's about finding those win-win situations.
I love it. Okay, so what's next?
Well, this story, it perfectly illustrates another one of Carnegie's principles, letting the other person feel that the idea is theirs.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's not about getting credit. It's not about being right.
It's about the outcome.
It's about the outcome.
And sometimes that means like swallowing your pride a little.
Sometimes you gotta let go of the ego a little bit.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Good.
It makes sense. Now remind me about Colonel House and Woodrow Wilson.
Okay, so Colonel House,
Yeah.
he was one of President Wilson's trusted advisors.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And he said the best way to convince Wilson of an idea
yeah.
was to subtly plant it in his mind
Oh,
and then
well.
step back and let it grow.
So he would like casually mention something.
Right.
And then Wilson would just like magically have this epiphany
An epiphany.
that just happened to like perfectly align with what Colonel House wanted.
That's exactly it.
That's incredible. That is so smart.
It's brilliant.
Because we all want to think we came up with the ideas, right?
Of course, we love that aha moment.
Even if like deep down someone kind of nudged us in that direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's human nature, right?
It's so true.
We're far more likely to be gung-ho about something
Yeah.
when we feel like it was our own idea.
It's like when we feel ownership over it, we're more invested in the outcome.
Precisely.
I can get behind that. Okay, what else we got?
Well, this all leads us to a really crucial aspect of Carnegie's whole philosophy,
Okay, what's that?
the power of empathy.
Okay, before we get into empathy, could you stick around for the final part of this deep dive? When I think about empathy, I kind of get stuck on that saying,
Walk a mile in their shoes.
yeah, exactly. But Carnegie actually gives you like a game plan.
He breaks it down
No, he does.
into actionable steps.
It's true.
Because whether you are dealing with I don't know, like a frustrated customer,
Yeah, yeah.
or you're having a fight with your partner,
Totally.
or even just that, like salary negotiation at work,
Mhm.
understanding the other person's perspective is so key.
It's everything, really.
He even says mastering this one skill
Mhm.
could be like the biggest factor
Yeah. Oh, wow.
in your career.
Really?
Yeah. He says it could make or break your career.
Okay, that's a bold statement.
It is bold.
But, I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
Because if you can understand your team, you
Yeah.
can motivate them, you can inspire them.
You get them on board with your vision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, sold. But how do you actually get better at this whole empathy thing?
Yeah.
Because it's hard, right?
It is.
We're all kind of like wired to see things from our own perspective.
We are. But Carnegie, he has this phrase
Okay.
that he suggests you actually say to yourself, like out loud.
Okay, get ready to cringe, everybody. Here it comes.
It goes like this. I don't blame you one iota for feeling as you do.
Okay.
If I were you, I would undoubtedly feel just as you do.
Wow. I mean, when you say it out loud like that,
Yeah.
it shifts something.
It does. It really makes you see it from their side.
Like, you actually step into their shoes for a second.
Because their reactions, even if they seem crazy to you,
Yeah.
they start to make sense.
Yeah, totally. Oh, it reminds me of that story about Carnegie
Yeah.
where he really messed up
He made a mistake. Yeah.
big time.
A big one.
He was doing his radio show,
Right.
and he made this comment about Louisa May Alcott,
Oh, yeah.
the author of Little Women.
Mm-hmm.
He said something about her living in New Hampshire.
Big mistake.
And the listeners,
Oh, boy.
let's just say, they were not having it.
They were not.
Especially this one listener from Massachusetts.
Oh, she was ready to march on the radio station.
I mean, I don't blame her. She wrote him this letter. It was a whole thing. She was like, first of all, Louisa May Alcott was from Massachusetts, which she was right about.
100% right.
And it would have been so easy for Carnegie to be like, whatever, lady, I made a mistake. Get over it.
It would have been so easy to get defensive.
Right.
But what does he do?
What does he do?
He sends her the nicest apology.
Really?
Yeah. And he even admits that her letter, it made him laugh.
Oh.
He's like, you got me there. I appreciate you pointing out my error.
I love that.
And just like that, he turned this critic into a fan.
He disarmed her
Completely.
by just being real,
Just acknowledging her right to be upset.
It's amazing how powerful that is. Okay, well, what else we got?
Well, that story about Carnegie and the angry listener, it leads us to another principle, appealing to the nobler motives.
Okay, I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
That one always makes me a little nervous. It feels a little, like, manipulative,
I get it. It can feel a little iffy,
Yeah.
but it's not about tricking anyone.
Okay.
It's about understanding that at their core, people want to be good.
That's true. We all want to be the hero of our own story. Right?
Exactly. So if you can frame your request in a way that aligns with those better angels,
Okay.
like generosity, fairness, compassion,
Mm.
then you're golden.
So you're basically giving them the chance to live up to their own best selves.
Exactly. And it's way more effective than trying to appeal to their,
Like their selfish side.
Ex-
Okay. Do you have an example of this one? This is a tough one.
I do. Remember the story about Hamilton Farrell, the landlord?
Remind me.
Okay, so he's got this tenant who's threatening to break his lease at the worst possible time,
Oh, no, like when it's going to be impossible to find someone else.
the busiest rental season.
Yeah, that's the worst.
So Farrell is ready to fight. He's going to remind this guy about the penalties, the whole 9 yards.
Oof.
But then he finds out why the tenant is moving.
Okay.
The tenant's wife got a new job,
Okay.
but it's a long commute.
Ugh, that's tough.
So instead of getting angry, Farrell, he changes his tune completely.
Oh, really?
He tells the tenant how much he admires his dedication to his wife and her career.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right. And then, get this,
Okay.
he offers to help the guy find a new renter.
No way.
Wait.
He's like, I got you.
He was. And the tenant,
What do you say?
he was floored. He agreed to stay until a new renter could be found.
Wow.
No legal battles, no drama.
That's amazing. See, that's what I love about all of this. It's not just
Yeah.
about getting your way. It's about,
It's about connection.
yes, it's about building something stronger.
Exact.
That's so much better than just like trying to win every single battle.
That's about the bigger picture.
It really is.
Yeah.
Wow, this has been eye-opening.
Yeah.
So, to wrap things up,
Yeah.
if you could only pick one thing from everything we talked about today, just one.
Oh, that's tough.
I know, right?
Right.
But if you had to, what would you tell people to really focus on?
I think it would have to be That idea of seeing things from the other person's perspective.
It all comes back to that, doesn't it?
It really does. When you can understand where someone's coming from, their
Mhm.
motivations, their fears,
Yeah.
everything changes.
It's like that unlocks everything else.
It does. You communicate better, you build
Yeah.
stronger bonds, you handle conflict more effectively.
That's the secret sauce right there.
It's the foundation.
I love it. Well, there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the heart of human interaction.
Guided by the one and only Dale Carnegie.
If you're looking to level up your communication skills, your relationships, your career, this is the place to start.
It's timeless wisdom.
It really is. Until next time, keep diving deep.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It would be a great source of help to maintain and develop this channel and the correlated website. This book overview was presented to you by olbooksummary.com. Are you interested in more insights into personal development books or motivational and inspirational books? Please visit olbooksummary.com and you will find a library of the most helpful self-development and human character development books overviews. See you soon with the next books overview video.